Open your arms to life. Let it strut into your heart in all its messy glory. Hi, I'm Linda Watson-Call. Thank you for joining me for today's episode of Dragonfly Soup. I had a conversation with a friend about her goals and how she could reach them. She offhandedly said, "Well, it's easy for you. You just decide to do something, and it happens." I was surprised by her comment. She knew me for years and had been aware of my struggles and some of the goals that I never attained. So why would she think that getting to a goal was easy for me? I asked her about the statement and her reason for it. "Oh," she said, that she knew that I got frustrated from time to time. She also remembered the time that I came to realization that I could not, under the conditions that surrounded me, reach a goal. She also saw that my disappointments were usually short-lived. She knew that once I realized the situation, I got over it and moved on. I thought about that and had to agree with her. Some people might say, well, I didn't try hard enough. Others would feel that if I stuck it out just a little longer, it would all come together. And I'm sure that others cheered because in their eyes, I failed. But regardless of what others think or thought at the time, my attitude has always been, don't dwell on it any longer than you have to. There's more that can be done. What's next? I may have mentioned in a previous episode about starting a software company in the 90s that created educational programs for children. My goal was to start this company and market these programs nationwide, maybe even become a millionaire. I started with one Atari computer, wrote several spelling and word programs, and started marketing them through computer magazines. They sold. And for the number of computers that were out, I would say they sold quite well. So I expanded. I got an Apple computer and rewrote those programs for the Apple. This was a much bigger hit since some of the schools were purchasing Apple computers for their classroom. On the surface, everything looked great, at least for the most part. I was developing educational programs, stores and customers were purchasing them. Life was good. How good, you ask? As Deborah Wiles, an award-winning children's book author, once wrote, "Open your arms to life. Let it strut into your heart in all its messy glory." And messy glory this business was. If you know anything about writing computer code, it isn't always pretty. You think everything's working right, and then whammo, someone presses a wrong key and the program stops, or does something very unexpected. Solution? I got one of my kids to sit for hours trying to break the programs so I didn't have to contend with upset customers. This worked. My son was motivated because I paid him a quarter for every bug he found. We needed stores as an outlet for our programs. Remember, back then there was no internet where a person could instantaneously download a program. It was all cassette tapes and then floppy disks. Programs were purchased directly through us by mail or through a local computer store. This was another glorious mess. I priced the programs based on similar programs that were available at the time. We had a decent, not great, but decent profit margin. But stores don't pay retail. They pay wholesale. And for large quantities, they want a 50% discount. Ouch! Talk about restructuring pricing so I wasn't losing money. But the messiest part was dealing with stores that wanted, actually insisted terms, like net 30. The problem was, I'm in Michigan, they're in California. What if they don't pay? I just can't hop on the next plane to visit their store and take back my merchandise. And after 6 months or a year of requesting payment, I often got a letter stating that they claimed bankruptcy. No merchandise and no money. I stood behind my product, so if the cassettes or floppy disk failed, I would send a new one. They were supposed to send me back the defective one. The mess was, sometimes I get a photocopy of the cassette. not the real thing. I had to ask myself, did the cassette really fail, or did they want a new one to give to a friend? Now, I won't say I didn't enjoy those years of creating fun educational programs. I did. But it did get messy. A lot. What did my friends and others see? They saw a new program being released every 2 to 3 months. Not the hours at the keyboard trying to write the code, or the hours fixing a program because my son found yet another bug in it. They heard me talk about designing an ad for a computer magazine, but they didn't know that the cost of one monthly advertisement meant I had to sell at least 10 programs to pay for it. They saw my packages hanging in the local store and knew that we were known throughout the country for our programs. Hey, I even sold one of my programs to a family in Poland. But they weren't aware of the returns, the bankruptcies, and the other behind the scenes of running a business. So, did I reach my goal? If I look at starting a computer software company, I would say I did. If I look at having a sustainable company, well, no. I think I was in business for about 3 years. But then, if I think about it, a lot of other small companies like mine folded at the same time. Was it easy? Some days were better than others. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat. When I think about what I learned, what I experienced, and what I walked away with, it couldn't have happened any other way. There is no easy way to success. And that means you open yourself up and embrace the messy stuff along with the wonderful. You have to live the life, the path, the experience in order to flourish and call it a victory. What are you experiencing on your way to achieving your goal? Is it fun or is it messy right now? Share with us either in the comments below or in a private message what your experiences are. And be sure to click like for this week's episode. And while you're at it, share it with your friends. And I'll see you next week, right here on Dragonfly Soup. Here's to our transformation and our best year ever.